I can't help this feeling of us against them, because there was a lull for the longest time where I wasn't being attacked for my political ideas, and then it started up again. And maybe not attacked, but people choosing to want to debate me or spar me on my beliefs. And I've just really gotten tired of it in the long run. I mean, it's the same. I mean, they're different faces and different people, but they come at you again and again with the same talking points. And a funny thing is that I have, and when this happens to you often enough, you begin to label people, because you've heard these talking points coming from this group or this group. And so when somebody comes up to you and they're parroting, or maybe not parroting, they think it's their own idea, but they must have got, sometimes you get the idea somewhere else. You don't realize where you got them. But when I hear the same talking points, I assume that they are one of, a tea partier, or notice how I said tea partier instead of tea bagger. The funny thing about tea bagger, it's now considered derogatory, but the people that started the Tea Party movement are such a bunch of squares, that they're not hip to other things, and they didn't know what teabagging meant. So they themselves called themselves teabaggers until they finally got hip. Rachel Maddow and Keith Olbermann set them straight, and they're like, oh no, we don't want to be that. And that's why I've always said, when I ran into people like Paleocrat or other people in the past that were conservatives that wanted to, or that, I've never personally sparred with that Tomcat F guy. What is it, Tomcat Scat? He guy just seems like too much of a nut job. I don't want to deal with him. But when I deal with those people, they are a bunch of squares. It's like, maybe some of them might smoke pot, but I've always like this disconnect between people that want to legalize but vote for George Bush, because George Bush's father was the one that withheld a major marijuana study. That when the study was finished, marijuana turned out to be, I want to say I don't want to say it was not harmful, but it was a lot less harmful than they would like us to believe. Because, in fact, the study would have showed that alcohol is more harmful in the long run. And they squelched, they held back that study. They didn't release it. Because what they were hoping to find is, ooh, this demon weed, there's just a terrible, terrible thing that we still need to keep it on a priority. Then even more recent, and notice now that we have the Obama administration in, that this new study came out, and it was made public, that marijuana does show a medicinal value for treating people with certain types of chronic pain. And this disconnect between I have a conservative friend who lives in Montana, who's a total pothead, but he is like, pro-Republican, pro-military, pro-everything, anti-Clinton, anti-Nancy Pelosi, hates all those people, he just gets red in the face with all that stuff. And yet he's a big pothead. And so, I don't know, I think it's some of these people, they want marijuana to still be illegal and people to be put in jail and fill our prisons for it. Like per population, America has more people in prison than China or almost any other country in the world per capita. At least that's my understanding. And a lot of that is for I don't know the percentage, but you think there's a good amount of them are in there for pot or something like that, Anyway. Just talking off the top of my head. So there's YouTube's pretty dead lately. It's oh, and I wanted to mention Jack Luck. I'm sorry I haven't been following every detail, but I understand you've been getting harassed by somebody on YouTube, and you basically have moved over to DramaTube, and I hope it'll be very, very soon that you can come back to YouTube. I don't know. I've went over to DramaTube and checked it out. I really don't. The format's a little bit different, and it took me long enough to learn YouTube. So I don't know. I don't think I'd open an account at Robinhood very soon, but I might. I don't know. Anyway. And just weird stuff's going on. I have to mention the NOE. Weird stuff's going on with the NOE. Stuff that I'm kind of surprised to see happening. It's just so many people were receiving bones. And now there's a new phrase, deboned. And the thing was, I thought that before the process was, you know, I mean, you got to hand it to Jeff to make these things, these bones, and then put them off in a package and send them off. So there was kind of a, it was more of a rare thing. And then now he just made a whole bunch of them, gave them to Riley, and Riley, bless his heart, will spend the money and send packages out. And there's all these people getting bones and other people going, that person's not worthy to have bones. And so now we have a new phrase, that person has been deboned. Well, I thought the way it was, once you have the bones, you're in. And that's why there should have been a little bit more discrimination, if I can use a word, or what's the word would be, more of a vetting process, you know, to know who this person really is or what they're about before you send them bones. But hey, it's called the Network of Evil, so, you know, who cares? But now I'm seeing Monk, of all people, getting the business from Riley. And Riley, do you understand how important Monk was? I mean, to me, the good old days, the NOE was Gordon, R138, and Trisha Kitty, and you know, the Leon Show, Jeff, and the Angry Dummy, which was Monk and Stan, and Pops and Lisa, and Frank of the Mountain, and there was some good video exchanges going on. Stuff that outsiders could watch and enjoy. You know? And so far, the new NOE just seems to be a lot of like insider warring with so-and-so, and here comes along this guy Torp, which I haven't completely made my mind up about. And by the way, Torp, I'm not Jewish. And I don't find that as an insult, even though it seems like you meant it that way. But I do look Jewish and I act Jewish. My middle name, Max, you know, a lot of Jews have that name. So is a lot of names David, too, you know. You know, David was king of the Jews, or one of the kings. Oh, anyway. Excuse me, I went down the wrong way. But I haven't fully made up my mind about Torp. But there's long-going battles, excuse me, ongoing battles that I wasn't even aware of between this guy Torp and the Wiz Liz and Can Cars, and now Clothing Optional is coming along and sparring with Torp too, and not that any of you care, but I thought I'd cover a little bit of the YouTube gossip. Should be careful when I drink.